How's it going, guys, and welcome to the channel. As we've got some very exciting news. It looks like Star Wars games are finally going to be developed by other gaming studios other than just EA. EA's developed some okay to good games with Fallen Order and Squadrons, but then they've created some really controversial games with like the loot box fiasco in Battlefront 2. And there's not really been anything for like Star Wars fans to get excited about. However, that could all change with the official news that was dropped by Wired. The article reads, "Today, Lucasfilm Games announced that it's entering a partnership with Ubisoft to create an open-world Star Wars game. The title will be developed by Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, marking the first time that a company outside of EA has produced a Star Wars game since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012. Ending nearly 8 years of exclusivity." This is pretty exciting. I think Ubisoft has made some great open world games, and I don't know about you, but I've been craving a game like this, like an open world Star Wars game, for years now. Anyway, the article continues, "Development on this new title is still very early. Massive is still recruiting for the project team, so details are sparse. Julian Giratti, director of The Division 2 and the crew, will serve as the game's creative director, and the title will use Massive's Snowdrop engine. Beyond that, Lucasfilm Games hasn't revealed anything about the characters or settings within the Star Wars universe that the game will feature." This is interesting, as the director was in charge of The Division 2 and the crew, so it leads me to believe that this may be more of a bounty hunter game rather than a game where you play as a Jedi. It would be really cool if they did something like the Knights of the Old Republic 3, but I'm not confident it will go in that direction based on the director that they've chosen from Ubisoft. It then goes on to say, while EA had previously suggested that the company would have exclusivity on Star Wars games for 10 years, it seems like either that was misstated or the clock has run out early. Lucasfilms would not confirm for Wired either way. Regardless, EA will keep making games in the future, but Lucasfilm Games is free to seek other partners. It then says, "EA has been and will continue to be a very strategic and important partner for us now and going forward," Sean Shoptow, Senior Vice President of Global Games and Interactive Experiences at Disney, told Wired. "But we did feel like there's room for others." This is great news, whatever you think of EA and the games they have brought out so far. We're basically going to get a ton of new Star Wars games in the near future, probably a new Battlefront 3, or a new story-driven game like a Fallen Order from EA, and completely new stuff from the other developers, perhaps even going back into old scrapped games like 1313. So the article then goes on to say, just like with past EA games, any new Star Wars games will be part of the same Star Wars canon and continuity shared across all the movies and TV shows produced since the Disney acquisition. The Lucasfilm's VP of Franchise Content and Strategy explains that while this means that the games won't always connect directly to the content in other media, possibility is on the table. So that's interesting, and could mean that they go towards connecting to maybe like The Mandalorian or Boba Fett if they go with the bounty hunter theme, or maybe they'll connect it to the new High Republic stuff. It then carries on saying, "This new non-exclusive arrangement for Star Wars games, as well as the rest of Lucasfilm's library of franchises, leaves open the door for developers to pitch their own ideas for stories to Lucasfilm Games." With the VP of Lucasfilm Games quoting, "We get no shortage of folks knocking on our door, wanting to play with our toys." So this really shows how Lucasfilm Games is now stepping in to run the show rather than just EA, which I think is a good thing. EA hasn't done so well over the last 8 years, and I think it's time for some fresh blood to come in and maybe give some new creativity and some new life to the Star Wars gaming universe. And hopefully that means letting creativity run wild in the Star Wars universe, with a bunch of new developers getting on board. This does make me wonder what other developers might be on board already, and if we might get some more surprises later on this year with other new Star Wars games in development. The co-founder and CEO of Ubisoft was also quoted saying, "The Star Wars galaxy is an amazing source of motivation for our teams to innovate and push the boundaries of our medium. Building new worlds, characters and stories that will become lasting parts of the Star Wars lore is an incredible opportunity for us, and we are excited to have our Ubisoft massive studio working closely with Lucasfilm Games to create an original Star Wars adventure that is different from anything that has been done before." So different than what we've had before has me sold. Maybe they'll do like an Assassin's Creed / Star Wars mix-up or something like that. But seriously, the fact that we're getting a sandbox Star Wars game is just enough to give me so much confidence in the direction that Lucasfilm Games are going. So the last part I wanted to talk about was when it says a single story-driven game can take up dozens of hours. An open-world game like the kind Ubisoft is making with Lucasfilm Games can potentially push into the hundreds of hours depending on how long a player wants to explore. Shoptao explained that really leans into why we are doing what we're doing, because these are massive entertainment experiences that last many hours, much longer than film. This just shows how huge of a game this is going to be. Being able to jump in the Star Wars universe and spend hours and hours playing will be awesome. And if done well, this will be massive for Lucasfilm Games. I feel like Star Wars games have been a bit stuck and there hasn't been any room to grow with so many of the interesting sounding projects getting cancelled. So when news like this comes along, you can't help but get excited. Anyway, we'll probably have a few years to wait as this looks like it's all very early in development. It's just good to see Star Wars games going in this direction, and after so long, there is finally some exciting Star Wars gaming news. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this news? Does it get you excited for what's to come? And do you want a bounty hunter game, or do you think you want a game that's more like a Jedi or Sith game? Maybe you do want the Assassin's Creed and Star Wars mashup. Oh, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and I'll see you on the next one.